And in your church, in Decatur, Georgia, the convention kicked you out, or kicked your church out. What was that like?
Well, that was just, pretty amazing. I was actually on retreat in North Carolina. My husband and I were taking a week just to kind of unplug and get away, and I started getting phone calls up in the mountains saying, "Have you heard?" And, our church has been in the Georgia Baptist Convention for 150 years.
Wow.
The pastors of First Decatur regularly been presidents of the Pastors Convention nationally, and given millions of dollars to the cooperative program through the years. And the way I found out about what the steps they were taking is when an Atlanta Journal-Constitution a reporter called me and said, "Hey, I hear you're no longer part of the." I thought, wow, 150 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that probably was worth at least a face-to-face conversation.
Oh yeah.
And actually, they didn't kick us out outright. That still may happen this year, but they just voted not to receive any of our money, and which, by virtue, doesn't afford us a place at the convention.
Right. So you can't. Your messengers don't have a vote then.
Right. And we hadn't sent messengers for years, but just sort of that. I think the interesting moment for me came when we finally did have a face-to-face. I invited the executive director of the Georgia Baptist Convention to meet with me, and he came with a state paper, the editor of the state paper, and some of the executives at the convention. And we sat down, and it was fine. I mean, we're throwing things at each other, and we prayed with each other. But at one point, I asked him. I said, "Bob, what's the difference between not receiving our money and just outright kicking us out of the convention?" And his response to me was so it just crystallized this whole thing for me. His response was, "Well, because we haven't kicked you out, if you ever need anything from us, if you need us to come and train your teachers or give you resources that may really benefit your church, then we can do that. You still are eligible to receive goods and services from us. But if we kick you out, then all of that is severed." And I said, "Okay, just a minute, because I really want to make sure I understand what you're saying." I'm saying, "Bob, you mean that if you had severed ties with us, and one day I call you on the phone and say, 'Bob, the Spirit is breaking out of First Decatur, and people are coming to Christ, and marriages are getting healed, and it's this amazing moment, and there's something that you're doing that's just really great, and we think it would strengthen what God is doing. Would you come over and help us with this?' You mean you wouldn't come and do that, or want to come and help?" And he said, "Well, I maybe I could come over in the evening, but not officially as a member of the convention." And it was just this crystal clear mind. I said, "This is why denominationalism is dying and probably needs to. If it's all about the exchange of goods and services and not about what God is up to in the world, maybe it needs to die. And so that was a wake-up call for me.